Nottingham Forest will take on Burnley in the Carabao Cup tomorrow night. But the real question is, do you actually care? Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you're watching this. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And welcome to your match preview for Nottingham Forest versus Burnley in the Carabao Cup. And honestly, guys, I don't really care too much about the Cup, but I do care to see some certain players get some, shall I say it, minutes in the legs. Not so much that, I just want to see certain players on the pitch, and we'll talk about those players in just a minute. And also, don't forget, this is a free ticket into European football. Yes, it would be the Euro Trash Cup, but hey, we also how West Ham celebrated that random cup. But anyway, guys, before we get into it, as always, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. Don't forget, this isn't replacing the daily transfer video. There will be a transfer video and there is a lot to talk about. So stay tuned for that. It'll be out shortly after this one. And don't forget, there's only 2 days left to get your Adidas home kit signed by Elanga with his name on the back of it from our good friends at Football Prizes. So go check out that link in the description down below. All right, let's get into this preview. And let's talk about the Forest team and what I think Steve Cooper is going to go for. Okay, so before I show you the predicted team sheet that I think Cooper will go with, let's talk about the injuries and the suspensions and things like that that can impact ahead of this game. Because I do feel, as I said in the intro, there are certain players that need to get on this pitch. I think us as a fan base would like to see if they've progressed, if they deserve to fight for a starting 11 in the Premier League, and so on. Now, Steve Cooper's done a press conference, but take it with a pinch of salt, because I guarantee you it was filmed in Manchester after the Man U game the other day. So I don't think there'll be too many updates also on what's happened with injuries, etc. So it is going to be a bit of speculation on my part. Now, what we know for sure is that Worrall is suspended. He'll be suspended for this game and the Chelsea game. So he'll only miss one Premier League game because the suspension covers all domestic competitions, which includes the Cup. Some of you may say it's unfortunate. I'm one of those people. I would have preferred to see him suspended for 2 Premier League games, but it is what it is. The other one is McKenna. We know he went off injured, so I don't expect to see him in this match either. I don't think he'll be risked. And in terms of the rest of the guys, I don't think we'll see Brennan Johnson. With all the speculation surrounding him, I can see him being put out the limelight, because if he was to get injured at this late stage in the transfer window and the deal couldn't go through, it could be disastrous for Nottingham Forest in terms of money. Again, apologies on my voice, it's still not fully recovered. But anyway, let's get into this and let me show you the predicted team that I think we will go with. And what we're going to do, we'll just bring it up here. And I think it's going to be something like this. And there are a couple of key players that I really want to see in this game on Wednesday. In fact, it would make it of some form of interest for me. And don't forget, we'll have the watch along for it tomorrow night. The key players I want to see Montiel. I want to see what he's about. I want to see if he can cut it in a competitive match like this. I think he's going to be okay. Is he better than Aurier? I'll wait and reserve judgment on that. At the moment, I'm not so convinced. In terms of Santos, he has to play. I don't think there's any two ways about it, because he can't play in our next Premier League game, which will be against Chelsea. So therefore, it would make logical sense for him to step into this match. And then Elanga has to start, man. Elanga's got to get a start at some point. And I've switched him over to the right-hand side, because long term, I probably see him as the Brennan Johnson replacement on that side. And for me, it would make sense to put him there. In terms of Biancone, he needs to play. I don't think he'll play at right back, because I think Montiel will get minutes. I think Biancone may go into the middle. With the lacking in defence that we currently have with suspensions and injuries, I may expect to see him play at centre-back alongside Niakate, who's working himself back towards full fitness. And I think Einar will be rested and Nico Williams will come in again just to get more minutes under his belt. In terms of the formation, I've gone for a 4-2-3-1. I don't think Cooper will go for that, but I do expect him to go to a back four, more so out of necessity rather than because he wants to, because I don't think we've got enough centre-backs currently. Unless he brings Bolly back into the fold, I don't see it really happening, but you never know with Cooper. The other option at left back, he could bring in Powell, get him some competitive senior minutes. Again, he impressed over the preseason, so I think we may see him there. It just depends if he wants to prioritize Nico Williams on the pitch ahead of him. And then up front, definitely, Awoniyi is going to be rested. So will MGW. And I can see Wood coming in and maybe Hwang playing out left. Maybe Dennis, but again, there's talks that he's on his way. So I don't think he'll be rested. And then it'll be good to see the young gun Aguilera maybe play in that MGW position and see if he can continue impressing as he did pre-season for me. I think as well we'll see Turner dropped and Horvath brought in. Horvath will probably end up being our cup keeper unless he goes in the next few days. If not, Shelby I think could make an appearance there. They may not play Horvath at the risk of cup tying him for other teams. You never know with these things, but I don't think it will be a team in the Premier League where he ends up going. If he's going to go, it's probably going to be in the Championship because Forest, as we will talk about later, are very close to securing a new second keeper. And that will come up in the transfer video. But in this team, I'm really excited to see Santos. I want to see how quickly he's settled in. Can he get stuck in to the Burnley midfield? Can he hold a two? I've put Coyote as alongside him, Check Coyote. I could see someone else coming in, maybe a Lewis O'Brien. But again, if he's leaving, then they won't risk him getting injured. So I think it will probably be those two in midfield. Danilo, for me, needs to be rested. He doesn't look quite at it currently, so I think it's important that he's not on the pitch come Wednesday. Overall, this team should be enough to beat Burnley. Burnley, although I thought they wouldn't struggle in the Premier League, haven't overly impressed me. I thought they put a good account of themselves against Manchester City for the first 20 minutes, but I found them to be quite poor against Villa the other night. And yes, I've gone for Mr. 19 million striker Chris Wood up front. This is the kind of game for him against his former club. Could be interesting to see if he scores a goal or two. But let me know what your thoughts are on this team. Do you agree with it, or do you think less of the first teamers will be rested than this? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, so let's move on and have a look at the Burnley team. And I'm going to tell you guys straight now, I don't know half these players. We know the sub goalkeeper because he used to play for Forest a few years back when he was on loan from Man City. Outside of that, I'm just going to tell you how they lined up against Villa. They did play in a 4-4-2, but in their game against Man City, they went a little more defensively with a 3-back formation. I see Vincent Kompany under a little bit of pressure to start getting some momentum. So I do expect him to put a strong-ish team out for this Burnley match, especially as, don't forget, we've got them as our next home game coming up. So I expect Vincent Kompany to be looking to build some momentum, a bit like what we did in the cup run last year. Get some momentum on the pitch, get a winning feeling, etc. And that's what I see happening. Look, you guys will know more about them than I do. I'm not going to lie and sit here and talk like I watched too much of Burnley last season. I caught the odd match here and there, and they were impressive in terms of their play style. But can that play style adapt into the Premier League is the big question. And at the moment, it seems like Vincent Kompany is trying to play his philosophy into it. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think he may as well test it out, see how it works. And if not, I'm sure he will adapt it. But hey, who cares? Burnley aren't exactly our problem. So this may be one of the teams he goes with. I'm sure he will make a couple of changes, but nothing more really to say about Burnley. If you got something you want to say about them, get them in the comments down below. All right, so let's move on to predictions for this game. And I actually think it should be quite an entertaining match. Steve Cooper, for whatever reason in the Cups, always seems to play a more attacking brand of football, apart from the Man U games last season. But outside of that, that set of matches, everything else was quite attacking and expansive, especially in the Carabao Cup. And I expect to see that from us tomorrow. And I do expect Burnley to come out and want to play football as well. So I see this as they always say, the cliche, a good old school cup tie between the two clubs. And I do think Forest will edge this one, especially if we play a nice attacking style of football. And I could see Chris Wood scoring against his old club and getting the winner. That would be quite funny. Am I not bothered about this game? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not. My priority is Premier League. It always will be this year. Maybe you guys want to see us get and win this, maybe go a step beyond from last season, getting to the semi-finals and maybe into the finals, and who knows, Europe. That might excite me, but I'll let you know then. But honestly, at the moment, let's just get some fringe players in the team. Let's see how they perform. I'm really excited to see what Santos can do. Biancone, Aguilera, players like that. They're the ones that I want to see on the pitch tomorrow. But get your thoughts in. Don't worry though. Don't worry if you're still awake. Stay awake a little longer because we have a transfer video coming your way and it's got some huge updates for you. So if you've enjoyed the video, I doubt you have, but give me a sympathy like. The voice is still not what it is. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you're new. We'll see you shortly on the transfer video. And in the meantime, to whet your appetite, go check this video out on the high press. That's a hint of who's coming to Forest. Thank you for watching, and come on, you Reds.